Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. And for the people that are going to watch this after the fact, thank you for taking the time. Sage HRMS Alerts and Workflow, delivering meaningful data-driven insights that are relevant, timely, clear, and actionable. As I go through this presentation, I want you to start to think about data and the way that you embrace data, how you consume data. Next. There you go. Hopefully, a lot of people on the call have joined the team over the course of the last 6 months and gone through this wheel of Sage HRMS with the partners so that they understand how each component fits in around the enterprise of HRMS and how you can leverage each one of these to have a complete solution moving forward. Today, it's alerts and workflows time. This encapsulates everything up to this point in time and how we can use this. Our agenda today, quick introduction of who this is. So I'm going to talk about 8 business conditions that I see as it affecting your business. But I'm also looking for input from you. How do you see what I'm talking about? How do you see it play into your business? What type of alerts do you see could benefit from you? What kind of actions could benefit you in your business? And put those into the question box or keep them for the end and we'll talk to them. We're going to do a quick product overview so it's not a scary thing. You'll see the product and how it would work in your business and understand the type of skill set that you will need to have on board to make it work. We'll wrap up with a Q&A and demo and pricing and then next steps. But we'll start with who's talking to you today. My name is Greg Swallow. I've been working in the Sage community for 35 years. There's a couple things that you're going to just learn about me. I haven't won the lottery, first of all. And second, you're going to notice that I say different words like process and process, about, and things like that. So you're going to find out where I actually live. But I've been working with the Sage community, the partners, the customers globally, and try to help them move their enterprise forward and get the best out of software. So our introduction to Sage Alerts and Workflow today, this is what I want you to start to think about, data-driven. Are you finding yourself having to go to the database, going to HRMS and find things, or having someone go and dig through to create different things or create reports or send information out to a mass audiences? Is that someone's job, or can we use the software to do that? We're going to talk today about what Sage Alerts can bring to as a data-driven to your organization and how we can take that data at the appropriate time and disperse it to throughout your organization. What kind of alerts you see would helpful to you, right? So there's some things that come to mind quickly when you get this, okay, vacation, PTO, let's send it out to the people that saying, you know, it's the end of the year, you've got to take your PTO or you're going to lose your PTO. Maybe we want to send at the same time we send it to the individual about their PTO, let's send it to their manager, let's send it to their team to let everyone know, hey, Bob is going to be out for the last 2 weeks. Don't build programs around where you need his input at this point in time, right? So using that kind of knowledge that we have in our system and then sending it out to let everybody know what's going on. When you have new hires that are coming on board, right, there's a whole bunch of onboarding and maybe we want to connect to a self-service portal where we have all the documents there. But also with the new hire, who needs to know? Certainly the manager who they're going to report to, it's going to start on this day, but maybe it would be nice to let the team know, hey, you know, Bob's going to start today, sort of idea, and we want you to welcome him. This is his job description. This is what he's going to do, and this is the impact that we want from Bob as we move forward and why we've onboarded him, right? So just bringing the tools together. You may have company equipment that you want to track, right? Cell phones, laptops, that sort of idea. Let everyone know that there's an upgrade coming for Windows is coming to version 11. So be prepared, back up your systems, change your password in 90 days. All those type of things that you need to communicate out just as a business, here's an opportunity to use software to do it. Anything that has to be renewed. Maybe I have Fork Truck, maybe I have WMIS reports, maybe I have, you know, driver's license. When things are coming to that point in time, let's send an announcement or alert out to the employee that this has to happen by this date. And then as we get closer, maybe we copy in the manager of that person, we're 15 days out and still hasn't been completed. So there's a ways to use this as a hierarchical way to get that information dispersed throughout your organization as well. Some information you're going to want to send as emails because people are at their desk, but other people within your organization aren't at their desk. They don't see their emails till late at night. So maybe that information needs to go through their phone, through SMS. This needs to be done. This needs to be taken care of. You need to be aware of this type of thing, right? And it could be company closures. We're closing at noon today because of the snowstorm that's coming. We're bringing everyone together in the boardroom because we have a big announcement, those type of things of communication. So I want to either schedule it or ad hoc as I need it, getting that information out to the team. So all these things that we have available to us that are part of our HRMS world is things that can be alerted on. So as I go through this presentation, I really like you to think about what would be helpful for you. So in benefits, right? Everyone's got benefits within your organization. They're effective in X days. So X being quantity you put in, the effective date, the expiry date. Your benefits are going to expire in 30 days, right? What action do you need to take? Or they expire today. I'm sorry, we got to either get you renewed or what is the next step, right? So when we communicate out to, again, an individual, a group of people, an external team, or the company-wide, we can tailor these messages to send out at the appropriate time. The interesting thing is that you're not doing this. This isn't something that I'm asking you as an HRMS manager to do. This is the software in the background generating this information and sending it out at the appropriate time. So you no longer have to worry about it happening. Certifications, right? Lots of people and different, depending on where you are, and it could be from your welder certification to your fork truck certification to WIMA certification to what have you, right? There's all kinds of certifications our teams need to have and keep current. So when is it going to, when does it have to happen? When's the effective date? When is it going to expire? Let's remind people, let's remind their manager these things that happen. So all kinds of different certifications go on throughout the course of the month, the quarter, that we need to track of our employees. Here's an opportunity to have the software, again, sitting in the background, monitoring those things and sending out the appropriate alert to the appropriate person. We've got different charts, right? Different certification counts, whatever you want to see in a visual point of view. So delivering data, it becomes very monotonous, right? So most people don't consume the entire email, if you will. So giving them a visualization of the data, this is the number count, and we can color code that. So they go, okay, we haven't reviewed these employees this month, or they're up for review this month. These employees or certifications are going to expire, right? So there's all kinds of ways to take the data that's within HRMS and give it a visualization so that you can either post it on the wall, post it on a bulletin board, send it to the managers so they can see the ups and downs of what's going on. Vacation time. If I took a report, and I'll show it to you in a minute, is how much vacation time has all my employees taken? Well, if I give it to you as numbers, it doesn't really mean anything. But if I send it to you in a graph, it's all of a sudden the 4 people jump out at you going like, wow, they're really killing it on the vacation this year, or they're taking over and above the norm of sick time, if you will. So having visualization of the data is really helpful as a consumption, the way you want to consume it. And then employees, right? This is a constant change that is going on as we're onboarding, offboarding. People are changing, marital status is changing, address is changing. We want to send out birthday greetings to people, have the software do it. We want to thank you for your service, your hiring date anniversaries. You're changing to full-time to part-time. All these kinds of things that we have to communicate as HRMS people to the team. But is someone having to do that now? If this is someone's job to gather this data and then create the email and send it out to the appropriate person. Here's an opportunity to embed the software into it and have it done and taken care of, right? So organizational changes, someone's moving from department to department, new people onboarding to it, all those good things. Pay reviews is X days, pay review is today, the I-9's rectification today, payment range change, right? People want to know about that. They're getting a raise or their holidays are coming or performance review today. Those are all kinds of things that we communicate out to our teams. So we do have that team environment. This is a way of using that software to do it. We've got leaves, right? Someone's going off, it ends today, it returns today, it starts today. Those are important for the person doing it. They probably pretty much know. But what about their team? What about the managers? Do they know this is happening? Do I need to have a report of what's coming down the pipe this month in the next 30 days? Which of my team members are going to be on leave? Also, which of the ones are returning? When should I expect people back? That helps me level set what I need to get done for this month or this quarter. It helps to make sure I've got the other team members informed so they're not starting projects that need input from the person that's on leave. So having that kind of information available to the management at their fingertips, not only the employee, but the people that are running the team, it will save you invaluable amount of time down the line because everyone knew. And then notes. Different notes we need to send out to people, follow up the next day, follow up today, the users, anything that's notes driven that you want to share with internally, perhaps even externally of your organization. Here's an opportunity to use the software to do that as well. And then training, right? Everyone's got to be trained. Everyone has to keep a level of training going up, whether it's one-on-one training, or whether it's you need to go watch these recordings out there about whatever the scenario is. Most of it is, security around your databases and that sort of idea. Lots of companies have to run those things every 6 months of what's going on, usages and that sort of idea. So did that person take the training? Did we complete it? Who hasn't completed it this so far this month? Who hasn't even not started it? Who isn't starting it next amount of days, right? So there's different ways to slice and dice the data so that one of your initiatives as a company is to make sure that from the IT department that everyone has gone through and recognizes spam, everyone knows how to phishing is, that sort of idea. Those are important things, and we want to make sure everyone gets through those courses and understand it. So using it for training, new processes in your organization, if something's changing, a new machine is being entered in, we need to get people trained and understand how this now affects the flow, if you will, of the product moving through the business. Again, training is a way to gauge and manage who's done it, who hasn't done it. So using the software to do that and send this information out to not only the people that have completed, congratulations, here's your certification, you've done it, or by the way, you haven't completed this and we need this done by the end of the month, and let's management to give a scorecard. And then wellness, right? We've got all kinds of different things that we have to monitor. There's a blood donation drive in the lunchroom today. That's a great thing. Let's send that out. But you need a drug test report. Here's your results. Whatever. Some things needed. You need a physical or your next physical. There's all kinds of things that depending on your company makeup have to be done around wellness and the team that's with you. And so we want to use this again to monitor that it's done or it's not done, and then let's management to then make a decision on what the next step is, right? So we don't have to call out the entire team. We can call out the one or two individuals who either haven't completed or there's a challenge with it. So using the software as a wellness communication as well. So these alerts that I'm talking about, and I hope while I'm going through this really quickly that some alerts may have sparked something in your mind, going like, what would be helpful? Let's talk about those later. It's like, what type of things that you want to communicate out to your team, if you will. And some of these alerts that we're going to set up are going to be repetitive, but you don't want them to come to you after 5 o'clock. You want them from 9 to 5. You don't want them on weekends. But there are some alerts that you do want. The office is going to close tomorrow because of snowstorm. That's important. So send that one to my home email, my personal email on my phone, if you will, versus my corporate email. So when we create these alerts and send them out to people, they can be very bestowed in how you deliver the information and the timing of that information and who's getting it. The neat thing is that a lot of us consume the same data points, but we want to see it differently. And so we can extract the data, and I can deliver to one person the segments that they want and another person the segments they want. So they're not having to go through a complete report. They're just getting the information that makes them make a decision, allows them to make that decision. So think of it as we're not delivering haystacks out there. We're only delivering the needles so you can make your business decisions moving forward. So anytime, anywhere alerts that we're sending out to people. So the product, and I'll spin into this, and I hope you're thinking about different alerts as we go through this, but the product is broken into 3 different modules. When you get the product, when you load it onto your system, you're going to get everything that is absolutely available with the product. In the unlocking of the different modules is done by the license itself that we generate for you, but you'll have all the components that you'll ever need loaded at once. So from an implementation, no one has to come back and do anything. It's just we flip a license and we unlock another door, if you will. But it starts out with the alerts, and these alerts, as I say, they're firing off of data. So you're pulling the data, you're sending it out to the appropriate people by crystal report, by SMS, by email, by SSRS. They're getting that information out. We're taking the next module as reports. So we want to pull that information and we want to generate a report, right? So we're going to do that in crystal or SSRS, attach it, embed it, whatever that scenario is, and send it. The third one is the workflow module. So we want to take that report and we want to file it, or we want to update a SQL database, or we want to push it to a server somewhere, right? So there's a workflow or process in behind it. But that's really all the components that you're going to get with it. And then it's licensed by database, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to flip over real quick. He says with great enthusiasm to another database. So we're going to end this and shrink this. And now I'm going to go here, and all things working out right. This is the actual software what I'm talking about, Sage Alerts and Workflow, and this will be your experience on a daily basis if you want, if you can go in there. So anyone with this URL inside your firewall can access the software and create their own events. So if you have different team members who want to use that, they can go ahead and do that. The only caveat to that comment was they can't do it concurrently. It's only one at a time. We do have a concurrent license if you do want multiple people in at the same time. Starts up, of course, like every good software, username and password, and off we go. So a couple things I want to point out at this point in time. It's licensed by database. So you buy 1 database, 2 database, 3 database, and at 4 database, you get an unlimited license. So yeah, we're talking about Sage HRMS today, but some of you may actually have Sage 100 underneath it, or Sage 300 underneath it, or Sage Fixed Assets, right? Another database or something else along that way. So you can continue to use the same software, right? So we haven't changed anything with software. All we've done is change the license, and we've unlocked, in this case, in my world, I've unlocked an unlimited database, right? That's just the way I've got it set up. But it allows you to then, as you grow or as you find value in the product, to take this from your 50, 60 alerts in HRMS to take it to your ERP with hundreds of alerts, right? So you get more value out of it, and we aggregate that data together so that it becomes very meaningful. So we're going to open up Sage HRMS, and the first thing that we're going to do is queries. And we think about queries, if you will, in the way that we think about it is, what do I want to know? What is my query? I query how many, you know, certifications have expired, right? So, okay, that's important to me. That's the information that I want. How do you as a company do that today, right? So that's the first question to find value in it. So certification expired, right? So as you see, when we install the software, all these events are already available to you, so you're not having to write one. I'll show you how to write one, but this is your from install, get going, you're firing off these 53 events right away, right? This information is starting to come to you. So we're going to look at certifications. Now, if you think about data, if you will, in the application, my query is going to come from my tables, right? So in the left-hand side here is all the tables exposed of HRMS, right? So we can go through and say, okay, these are the tables that are available. I select the tables that I want and I bring them over here. From there, I need to select which column is in that table, right? So I'm granularly bringing it down. Instead of looking at, you know, 1,000 tables, I'm bringing it down to looking at, okay, these are the only ones I want to talk about today. As I select those, I'm selecting each one of them down here. So this is my query, the information that I want. I want, you know, the expiry date, the last date, the original date, the requiry date, and that sort of idea. As I'm building these, at any time, I can come back and view them. So there's a couple of things that I'll take you through in the software here. First, you can link things if you want to grab it from somewhere else. You can filter it. So if I want to take two things and aggregate them together, I can sub-filter that filter. I can view it as a SQL file. So some of you are, you know, are SQL savvy. You go, oh, I get that, what it's doing. And then I can preview it. Right, so in that query, I asked it, who's got it, the employee number, the date it expires, the last date, and so on. So those are the types of queries that we can pull through. You can do it by customer, by employee, and have all that information there, know who their supervisors are. Now, in your day-to-day, how did you do that, right? How does that get done in today's world, and is there value in the software to doing that? So that's one of the ones that I wanted to take you to. So overview, review per manager, right? So as we go down this, and I'll go relatively slowly so you can see not to give you, you know, scare you with the amount of movement, but so you can see the type of events that are going on. So I'm looking for review overdue per manager. So that's the event that I want to run. The columns that I've selected, right? So again, this is just what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the supervisor and their employee count. I'm going to do the same sort of thing. We'll run the preview just to make sure that's everything right. So if you want to, at any time, create your own events, and we certainly encourage you to make them absolutely bespoke to your business, I'm going to show you how to do that. But this is the, this is the employees and the employee count per supervisor, right? Who are overdue for reviews. And that can now go out to both the employee as an alert, and it can go out to the supervisor as an alert. So there's one way of looking at that data. Then I talked earlier about, well, how about, you know, how do I do that in the charts? So we're going to look at the same data in a different format. So some people want to consume it differently, right? So same data, we're now going to show you a chart of that, taking it and delivering it that way, so that, you know, I can then take this and email it to you, or, you know, you can show up on as a desktop, as a pop-up saying, this is where you're at with this. If you don't like this chart, we can go ahead and switch charts along the way. So a different, you know, different point of view, if you will, of that information. So we'll go in and do that again, overdue, but we're going to, whoops, do it in that format. And we'll show the chart. Again, this is the way that you're going to consume the data. Where is this a visualization that helps you go like, okay, we need to get after Grace here. There's some, you know, things that we need to do with her. to bring her back into the fold. So again, it's just a different way of looking at you're looking at the same data, if you will, but consuming it a little differently. So I'm going to go back to my queries, and we're going to go, let's find some sick time, because that's an important thing. Sick time less than hours. So in this case, I want to be X. So X is what? X means what to you, right? So is it 1 hour, 10 hours, 100 hours? But vacation time is less than X. So when I preview this, it's going to ask me for what is X do you want? And let's go, I don't know, 10, for example, because that's important. Oops, and that didn't pull through, so there's not 10. So let's go to preview again. Oh, hands up. 6 and 6 days. 6 time. 6 time. 6 time. Let's try. Oh, that's vacation. Oh, 6 time. And we'll pull that again and see if we can find anyone who's got 6 time. So again, when we preview this, we need to give it a number. Don't know what the actual number is, so we'll go, let's see if there's anyone in 100 and see if we get any feedback back. Yeah, we do. Okay, so we know sick time is, less than X hours. So we know that this is what's going on with our team. Now I can send this to what? What do I want to do with this information, right? In how do I consume this? Is it meaningful for my managers to know who's got sick time? Is it meaning for divisions to know? Should we have to scale up employees based on the statistics of people taking sick time? There's all kinds of great questions to ask with that. And again, if I want to do that is in a chart format, we can do this from an absenteeism, certification, overdues, that sort of idea. But we're looking for sick time, so we're going to pull this, and we're going to sick time per hours, and we're going to do that again and charge it, and just delivered it to you as, and what did we say? We set up 10 or 100. Well, it was greater than 1. So we know as a visual, this is what's going on within your employees based on the data that's already got. How long would, in your organization, if I asked each one of you to pull that data right now, could it be done? What's the lift to do it? And is this something that I could have the software send to you maybe weekly or every month, if you will, so that you have what's going on in your business, just some visualizations, if you will, of the information. Couple more I'll take you through is, as we look at these queries, the queries then build us out what we're looking for in the database. So think of it as, I want these tables. I want the information within these tables. And how do I, where we got some different ones here, 6 out to ban. Let's do birthday greetings, right? That's important. Let's preview. It's going to ask me for some information probably about what's happening. Update. It's not even going to do that. Nice. But it's, if there's a birthday in the month of December in the database, it selects the birthday date of that employee and sends them out a birthday greeting. You may want to, 15 days before my birthday, if you will, the employee's birthday, is send out to his team. Did you know that Bob's birthday is on the 15th of this month? We'd like you to go here and sign in this electronic card, if you will, for the employee's birthday. And then finally, we'll just pull one more before I move forward, just in the sake of time. Full-time to part-time, right? So how does this become meaningful? We've got employees. We need to tell people what's going on. Oops, we have a problem. So that's good, right? It tells me what the problem that I'm dealing with, and it tells me the column that I've got. And so in down below, I've selected 16 tables within HRMS to pull forward, but I've selected one table twice, right? So we're going to take one of these tables and just delete it because that's the one that it told me that we've done. So it's, don't want to make it simplistic, but if you're building your own, don't be frightened to to edit it the way you want to see the information and play with it. You can't hurt it. It's just reading your tables. It's not writing to the database. It's just reading from it. So when we do a pull and you don't like the field that you got, go backwards in time and get rid of it or change it out. So what was this? So we'll go to full-time, see preview, see what we get. So now I know, who's gone along through the business, who's doing well, who's moving things forward, and who's gone from full-time to part-time or part-time to full-time, right? And it tells you the manager, who they are. And these are tables that are in HRMS. I haven't created anything. I'm just exposing them to you so that you can gather the information and deliver it out to the, the appropriate team member if someone's going to consume this information. That's the, whoops, and I'm going to pull this back here and cancel. So once I got the events that I want, and I'm just going to show you one more thing. If I wanted to take this absence starts today, right, and I say, okay, well, that's the query that I'm interested in, but I want to change it a little bit. I want to copy it, and then I want to paste it. Right now, I've got two of them. Now I can go in here and go like, okay, well, I want absence to start tomorrow, or the first of the month, right? So using an event that's already established in the system, you can go in and then say, okay, well, I want some of the fields that are in that event, but I need to add additional fields or truncate some different fields so that you can continue to add to it. So we always suggest don't change the initial pack that we give you. Use them as the baseline, if you will, or the guidance to how to go in. Once I've got that, we'll just go through and say, okay, well, we know it's in these tables, so what tables do I want? Probably the date, the day, that sort of idea, and you select what you want, and as it goes in, it just adds them to the bottom. And when you run the report, you'll see that, that's not really what I wanted or exactly what I wanted, right? So there's all kinds of ways to build these events and not necessarily having to come back to anyone, whether it be ourselves, whether it be Sage, whether it be your partner. You can do no damage, if you will, of creating those events. So now I've got my events, I've got my charts, I've got it set up. So that's my query, right? So I went and queried it. Now I got to figure out what do I want to do with it, right? So part of the next exercise is, okay, I want to take that query, I want to schedule it to send out when, right? So I can create my own, or I can select from these tables saying, okay, it's daily, monthly, hourly, every 5 minutes, every evening. There's a lot of different selections in here, but you can go ahead and write your own too. That's what I want it to schedule to run. So I want my who's taking PTO this week, run me a report and have it on everyone's desk, and it's important, or who's going to be out this month, or who needs to be certified this month, send it out at the first of every week, so everyone's on the same page, if you will. That's what I want to schedule. What do I want to trigger? Okay, I want to trigger a query. That's the query I selected. What's my deliverable? I want to deliver it as an email, right? So I'm going to set up an email address. It's going to come from alerts at your company, so that people know to look for that. This is the information that they're getting. It's coming by an email, but we know that some of our team members are not in-house. They're in vans or in trucks or on the road, whatever the scenario is. So I want to send that information through them, maybe by both email and SMS, so that I know that they got it, because sometimes, we all travel, you don't get to see it till the next day, and it may be important. So let's give it multiple different ways to consume that information. What am I sending out? I want to send out a chart. I want to send out a report. I talked earlier about sending out a file. So maybe there's some files if you're working with you know, Glass Ceiling or Indeed or different web boards, if you will, that you want to either push data to or capture data from. Here's an opportunity to do it and tie it to a record so it starts to make sense in your system, right? So creating a file, submitting a SQL statement, writing in a web API because I want to upload a job description, or I want to upload you know, different information about my onboarding process. All my files are up there. I need to attach that. I select my deliverable. How am I going to deliver it? And then finally, who is my subscriber? So who am I sending it to, right? That's the final thing. So if you think of it, there's 3 stages. First, I do a query, I pull the data, then I figure out what I'm going to do with the data. Once I pull it, who's going to consume it? How are they going to consume it? And finally, who's going to consume it, right? So these are the you know, am I doing it by an individual? Am I adding a name here? Am I doing it by a group? Am I doing it by a company wide? If you know, do I want to copy some people in? Do I want to BCC some people in? You know, as part of this more than, you know, communications that we have, right? Tell the employee BCC their manager, whatever that scenario is. And this is how it's set up with the actual event. So if you look at the 3 components that you're setting up, it starts out here with the queries. Whoops, cancel that. Starts out here with the queries. That allows me to go in and select what I want to do, right? What tables. I move it to an event. That selects me what I'm going to do with that query. And then finally, my deliverable of how do I get that information. So I won't say it's, you know, super easy, that sort of idea, but once you understand the way the data flows, and as I say, you can't break it because all we're doing is taking an instant snapshot of that data that you've already got in HRMS, you can start building your own and playing with it, what's going on. The neat thing that happens with Sage Alerts and Workflow is it doesn't necessarily, let me close one of these. It's a set and forget it software. Think of it as a smoke detector for your data. And if you've ever talked to Joe, it's something called Yoo-Hoo. But that's a Kravitz thing, and you're all too young for this. But it has a watchdog into it. And what's that watchdog does, because it's, you know, you're going to be excited and you're going to use this and it's going to be set up and alerts going to be firing off, and then you won't look at the software ever again until the next alert has to be driven. So we put a watchdog in there, and the watchdog is actually watching this software. So if something goes wrong, you know, a server rebooted and we didn't come back up and running, you know, there was an upgrade, Microsoft is brilliant for them. So the watchdog then sends an alert out to you as the IT people or as the person using it and saying, hey, you need to be aware of this. You can go through schedulings and activities and emails. I won't go into each one of these, you know, and I do encourage anyone who has, you know, wants to go deeper with this, talk to your partner, talk to Sage, and I'll drill down as far as you want to go, you know, with your data and talking about what's going on. And then the administration level. So the administration is, you know, who's using it, the service levels, the scheduling, you know, the connections that you have, sort of idea is all the components. That's the software. It takes about, just to give you some ideas on timing and execution, when you execute the software and it's a downloadable, so we set up a couple things. We set up your IIS communication because we need to be able to get to, you know, this browser. It's browser based. We're going to install the software. That takes about an hour to go through, configure everything, and then get these events up and running, or these queries up and running. Right now, my caveat to that is these queries that are driven around HRMS. But as you know, there's thousands of users, so you can't just, you know, everyone's got a little bit twist and turns to it. So you're going to go in, you're going to run these and go, you know, I'm missing this field, or I actually put that data in another field, and you'll make them very bespoke to the way that you do your business. So there's basically a review of each one of these to make sure that they're firing off, and you'll know, just load it up, fire them off, and see what happens. And then you'll get to review the data the way you're seeing it, and then go in and change it to the way that you really need to see it. So that takes, if you're timing yourself out to say, okay, how long does that take? Let's give it about an hour, just as a number for each event, to go through them and make sure that they're working in your thing. And you're not going to do them all at once. You're going to fire off the 3-4 events that give you that ROI that you wanted for this software, and gives you the business effect you wanted for the software. And then over the course of time, you can start going in each one of these more obscure ones, and going through each one of those and adding it to it. So that's the software component of it. Now, the next thing I'm going to take you through, and hopefully that's helpful. And again, as I'm talking, it expands your idea about data-driven, right? You own the data now. How do you consume it? If someone's going to go and hunt and peck and find this data for you, to create a report, to deliver it to someone, if that's a job, here's an opportunity to enhance that job with software in getting that information to the right person at the right time. So we do create for you as well is a series of videos, and these videos are 5 to 40 minutes long about how do I do stuff, right? And what's helpful with this is you can learn at your own speed, which is great. You can share it so other people, socialize it internally so other people can see what the product does. That's a cool thing. But you can always reflect back to this at any time and saying, okay, I want to do something. How do I actually do that, right? How do I set up, emails, pull data, that sort of idea. So all these things are how to do queries are available to you at any time. This is just on a website that's available to you. On top of that, we're available to you, Sage is available to you to help you out, and your partners are available to you to pull that all together. So I think I'm going to go back to, whoops, this one. I'm going to launch this out again. So hopefully that was quick, but informative about how the levels of the product work. And then we're going to go with this thought: a system of actionable insights is the best means by which you can increase the responsiveness of your organization and differentiate yourself from your competition. And your competition is not another system, it's another company trying to hire that person. Your competition is my retention of my employees. That's my competition. How do I keep them from moving on to someone else? The best way is to communicate with them. The best way is to be a team player with them and get that information going. So smarter tools, smarter workflows, Sage HRMS and its ecosystems are ready to help you get more done with less effort. And I believe we got a couple polls at this point in time.
Hello, everyone. So I hope you guys have been enjoying the webinar series so far, but specifically for alerts and workflows. So if you guys would like to continue the conversation about Sage HRMS alerts and workflows, please let us know so we can kindly follow up with you guys. And if anyone has any further questions or anything they've had kind of wanted to answer, please feel free to jump into the questions box or the chat box. We'll be happy to answer them in either place. And while you guys are filling that out, just a few housekeeping things. I did put it in the chat, but there is an attached handout for the PowerPoint that Greg was kind of presenting from today. And then also in the chat is a throwback to our very first video of the series, to the HRMS YouTube channel that we have, which has kind of covered all of the series. So if you've missed any of them, please feel free to check back there. And I'll go ahead and close out this poll, make sure everyone's gotten their answers in 3, 2, 1. And we'll kind of just jump into our last one before I hand it back to Greg to kind of kindly close us out. If you have enjoyed the series so far, which we really hope you have, and you want to learn more about what kind of webinar series we're doing in 2026, please click yes. And maybe another time, just kind of want to see what happens going down the road. Also feel free to click that one, but I do hope you all click yes, because then I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you want to continue to learn more about what we have here at HRMS. And I'll give this one about 5 more seconds, and then Greg will go back to you. So okay. 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, everyone's putting it in. 3, 2, 1. And Greg, if you want to close this out.
Yeah, no, thank you. Just, a couple things. Do you want to continue that conversation on a one-on-one? I'm certainly, hopefully y'all know Danny. Joe and the team really is, we're all here to help you be successful. Happy to do this for a greater group within your own organization, build it around your data needs, what you want to helm, what you need to deal with, help you be successful with this, talk about, the future of what you're trying to get to, what other systems that wrap around your enterprise that maybe you want to get data from as well, or put data into. So there's lots of different things that I'm available for you at any time to set up and do with you. I think that's really, from my perspective, about it, people. I truly appreciate your almost an hour of time, and for the people that are going to listen in the future, thank you for taking your time. And hopefully the whole series collectively that was started by the HRMS team has been meaningful and thoughtful and help you drive your business. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg. It's Danny. Thank you again. Wonderful presentation. And hey, I just want to answer one question that was in the box. So yes, anyone on this call listening to this, if you already have Sage Alerts and Workflow, if you have the core module and you have HRMS, or if you have Sage 100 and 300, with outside connections of those products, you can add an additional connection to HRMS. You can add it to Sage 100. You can add it to Sage 300. Just contact us. We'll make it happen.
Thank you, everyone. I will close it out for now, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.